Hello and welcome to Arsenal Analysed. I'm Jake. I hope everyone is doing well and not too down during what feels too soon for a break from the Premier League. But nevertheless, I bring you your weekly dose of Arsenal news. And as always, if you are looking forward to getting stuck into this video, do go ahead and smash that like button and subscribe if you want to see more of this on a regular basis. But let's waste no more time at all and jump straight into things with some of the easier and lesser important, with all due respect, news. So first things first, Omar Rescheduled is leaving, or has left, Arsenal after having his deal terminated at 22. He wants and needs regular first team football, which simply put, he's not going to get at Arsenal. When we signed him, one of these typical promising potential players that could turn into something amazing. And like many of them, unfortunately, it hasn't quite worked out after a number of different loans and working his way through that youth system. So we wish him all the very best. As of now, I'm not too sure whether or not he has anything lined up. But as I say, we wish him all the very best indeed. Arsenal have also had a fixture in October rearranged just slightly. This is the away trip to the Vitality Stadium against Bournemouth. Now, this has been moved due to our Champions League commitments. The new date is Saturday the 19th, so the day before. It will now be a 5:30 kickoff. And like I say, the main reason for this rescheduling is because of our Champions League commitments against Shakhtar Donetsk the following Tuesday. Arsenal obviously wanting to make sure they've got around 72 hours to rest before playing what's going to be a chock-a-block schedule this season, like many others. Now, up next, we are going to talk about the international break. Yes, it always feels like it comes too soon. We wait the whole summer, which takes an age to have the Premier League back. And then before we can really settle in and start enjoying it, the internationals kick off. Now, Arsenal have a total of 12 players playing during this break, which includes Partey, Raya, Nketiah, Odegaard, Calafiori, Gabriel, Saliba, Saka, Rice, Timber, Havertz and Zinchenko. A bit of a mixed bag in the sense of a couple of these players have only got the one fixture, others have got a couple of fixtures. And it really comes at an important time for Arsenal, because when the international break finishes, we have got some really not only important fixtures, but huge games. We've got Spurs, the North London derby, which is always a massive fixture. We also have Manchester City the following weekend in the Premier League. And in between that, we have a Champions League game, our first Champions League game of the season in this format. And obviously, Arsenal are going to want to get off to a flying start. So everyone at Arsenal, Mikel Arteta, Edu, the owners, coaches, fans will all be praying that every Arsenal player comes back untouched. But two players that haven't gone away on international duty and have been training with Arsenal are none other than deadline day signings Sterling and Neto, who have both been training with Arsenal for the first time this week. Now, Sterling has been given the number 30 shirt. There was an error on the website suggesting that he may get the number 10, which would have been a little odd for a loan signing, especially one from Chelsea. Now, if you are wanting to learn a little more about both Sterling and Neto, they have plenty of material online, from interviews, videos, photographs of them in training, especially Sterling, who speaks about why he wanted to make the move to Arsenal, why he's excited, what he's looking forward to in working with Mikel Arteta again. Obviously, they had a fantastic relationship at Manchester City, and a lot of Arsenal fans are hoping that is something that we can see again, this time in the red and white for Arsenal. But what does that mean for the other wingers at Arsenal? Martinelli's not had the best start to the season. Trossard can sometimes have a face that looks frustrated because he's coming off the bench, but Arsenal needed reinforcements out wide, and if we can get Sterling firing on all cylinders as he has done in the past, not only is it good for Arsenal, but it also creates and drives that competition, which is always needed at top clubs. What did you make of the deadline day signing even of Raheem Sterling and Neto, who obviously provides that all-important cover as our number 2, giving us a little bit of breathing space until next summer, where you'd think Arsenal would probably look to pursue Garcia yet again. Now, I did just mention Trossard moments ago, and a bit of panic after the deadline closed for the transfer window. In Saudi Arabia, that isn't the case. It stays open for another 2 or 3 days. And Trossard was subject to a bid during that period. And the total bid was somewhere in the region of around 35 million euros, which is, a decent fee for the player. But he is very, very important. He's one of the best finishers at the club. And this was very quickly and swiftly rejected. Now, the actual formalities of what that deal looked like, it would have been a loan with £5 million as part of that fee, and it would have been an obligation to buy then for a further 20 to 25 million pounds. But as I say, it was very swiftly rejected. Even if Arsenal were to entertain a bid of that nature, with it coming after the deadline of our transfer window, Arsenal wouldn't have been in a position to replace. So it would have taken a huge, astronomical, stupid amount of money, in my opinion, for Arsenal to have accepted, which obviously wasn't going to arrive. Now, from one player potentially leaving to a new player at Arsenal, and like I often say on this channel, unless you've been living under a rock, you will more than likely already know about the news surrounding Arsenal's signing Mikel Moreno, who unfortunately had a collision with Gabriel in training in the build-up to the Brighton game. Now, this means that he will now be sidelined for at least the next couple of months with a fractured shoulder, and this came in his very first training session, which is a huge blow. Now, this means that he probably won't feature for Arsenal now until around the end of October. And one area that Arsenal really did need to boost numbers was in midfield. Yes, we've got Thomas Partey, who's playing more regularly compared to last season. Yes, we've got Jorginho, and whilst they are very good players, Mikel Moreno was brought in because of his qualities, which are above the 2 previous players mentioned. Yes, we've got Nwaneri as well, but he's going to slowly be integrated into the squad. He's not someone, given his age and experience, that we could be relying on week in, week out. So some unfortunate news there. If there are some Arsenal fans that were unaware of how long he might be out, we are looking at a period of around 6 to 8 weeks. 6 being obviously best case scenario, 8 being probably the more realistic of the 2, meaning he will be back come the end of around the October period. I'm sure we'll have many updates throughout the next few weeks, like we did with Timber. Obviously, injuries not the same in terms of seriousness, but we often do get regular updates when it comes to injury. So hopefully this is Arsenal being very cautious with their timelines, but we'll have to wait and see. Now, I'm sure a lot of you guys have seen the controversy over the weekend surrounding the decision to send off or give Declan Rice a second yellow card. And whilst things seem to have calmed down, Sky Sports often have Ref Watch on a weekly basis after the weekend to kind of give a bit of an overview on what decisions were right, what decisions were wrong. And this often involves none other than Dermot Gallagher, former Premier League referee, of course. Now, he goes on to say that common sense and refereeing don't actually go hand in hand when specifically talking about the Declan Rice situation, essentially confirming that he agrees with the decision to give Declan Rice a second yellow card and eventually him having to leave the field with a red. Now, where fans, not just Arsenal fans, where fans become frustrated with consistency, not only with Dermot Gallagher, but referees in general in the Premier League, when we often see the level of officiating at European competition level, for example, the Euros, the Champions League, other European competitions, other European leagues, when we see the level of officiating in the Premier League, which is often labelled the best league in the world, it can be incredibly frustrating. And what I mean by all of this, back in 2021, Dermot Gallagher reviewed a clip from a game between Swansea City and Luton Town, where Henri Lansbury, coincidentally formerly of Arsenal, in an identical situation, kicks through Manning in an attempt to take a quick free kick. Now, in his ref watch for this particular clip, he suggests that the player, Henri Lansbury, should have been sent off. And this is where the frustrations come from with Arsenal fans, fans of the Premier League, you name it. It's incredibly frustrating. And all of this is available. As you can imagine, some of these Arsenal fans, they could probably be detectives with the work that they do. So if you pop onto social media, you'll very quickly see these clips that I speak of. But look, enough of that. I'm sure you've got your opinions on the matter, and by all means, let me know down in the comments below. But what I really want to hear from you on, ending on somewhat of a positive, is although August is out the way and we're in this international break, it is the Arsenal Player of the Month time, and you can go ahead and vote on the website itself. And I'd love to hear from you guys down in the comments below. Who is your Arsenal Player of the Month? Bukayo Saka, David Raya with those two quality saves in separate games. Kai Havertz, who started really well with goals and assists. Likewise with Saka, who I previously mentioned. And William Saliba, who is always somewhat of a Rolls Royce for Arsenal. So like I say, do let me know down in the comments below. Who is your Arsenal August Player of the Month? Are you looking forward to seeing Sterling and Neto in Arsenal shirts? Was it the right decision for Arsenal to reject a bid for Trossard after the window closed? And how disappointed are you in Mikel Moreno's injury? Plenty to think about, plenty to discuss. And as always, I hope you have enjoyed today's video. Meaning, if you have, go ahead and hit that like button. Subscribe if you're new around here and you want to see more. There will be a show at the weekend, but you'll have to wait and see what that's about. But for now, I'm Jake. Take care, stay safe, and come on, you Gunners.